Je viens du Cameroun. Je travaille à l'Agence nationale des technologies de l'information du Cameroun. Alors, la plupart des présentations jusqu'ici ont parlé beaucoup de la connectivité, on a parlé du cloud, on a parlé des applications et bien d'autres encore, mais jusque-là, on n'a pas parlé suffisamment de sécurité. Donc, ma présentation va aller dans ce sens où on va beaucoup plus échanger dans le domaine de la sécurité.
We're also going to speak about cybersecurity. My presentation is going to be the national African CSIRTs.
Which one? OK, thank you. Alors, le plan de mon exposé va se structurer comme suit.
So I'm going to divide my presentation where I'm going to start speaking about the context and the objective. And we're going also to make a specific introduction on CSIRT. And we're also going to make an presentation of African National CSIRT, and also going to make some recommendations. And with Annex, you have some tools.
Alors, ces dernières années en Afrique,
I would say very, very concerning. Almost 80% in cyberspace, which are very, very important, essential, and other 10%.
Alors, qu'est-ce que j'entends par...
Allô, English. Não, em francês é 3. Allô. English 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Cybercrime. Allô. Tá a escutar? Okay, we spoke about crimes whereby when someone will receive a friendship, for example, from a famous musician that you don't even know, or let's give an example of a young girl. Normally, a young girl will accept a Facebook invitation because that person is a famous person, and end up communicating, dialogue, and creating some kind of friendship. So after they reach the level of trust, they might ask to speak or provide or send some information about themselves, and also send some pictures about themselves. And sometimes some people, they will try to blackmail once they've access to this type of image, and they'll demand some money. If they don't give them or don't receive the money, they can threaten to expose that they've received money, or they've sent a picture to a famous person or famous artist, for example, or politicians. So, for example, there's a case of Paul Kagame who asked to make friendship with a young man, and the young man accepted from Paul Kagame. And they can exchange communication, they become friends, for example, and ask a question. Is it normal for Paul Kagame as a president, is it normal for him to spend a day in the social network and exchange friendship with anyone? So it doesn't make any sense. In other words, we're saying not everyone has the same way of using the concept of social network in a specific city, in a specific village, for example. I mean, this just to give an example of the attacks that we daily face in our African countries. For example, cyber attack happens almost every single day. For us to detect it, we need some level of competency and skills. And we know the lot of piracy that happens with the name of hurting people. We also know that phishing, or people that use phishing, that's a technology that sometimes some companies they are suffer from cyber attacks that some hackers attack some companies. For example, in Africa, generally speaking, and in some countries, some African countries, they are committed in order to sign some agreement and fight against these cyber crime. And we've got the map in light blue. There are countries who have joined cyber initiative. We are speaking about countries such as Kenya, Egypt, and Rwanda. And in blue, we've got countries who are committed in topics on cybersecurity, such as Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Morocco, and Uganda. And the last category, we've got countries that have started being committing themselves on topics on cybersecurity. That's Gabon, Ethiopia, Congo, just to mention a few. So due to the cybernetic attacks, some countries decide to adopt a solution to have their legal framework. And some countries, they have laws that punish people who commit cyber crimes. For example, in Senegal, in Cameroon, and Morocco. In Morocco, there are laws that sanction people who commit that type of crime. And at national level, we also have some CSIRT that has been helping, that have been introducing law in order to fight against such crime. We're speaking about strategy on cyberspace security, the strategy on regulation of free movement and free trade, as well as cooperation. That's extremely important. And here, we also need to build technical or increase technical cooperation between countries. So we need to coordinate action of CRT in Africa, and to make sure that other countries that do not have such CRT, so they can have CRT. It means computer emergency response team, CRT. So we're speaking about some acronym that are used in other countries. For example, in the US, they speak about computer security incident response team. We also have incident response team, and we also have SERT, security emergency response team. And CRT is an institution whose aim is to fight up against cyber crime, and I can also speak about the development strategy for response and also establish a channel of communication with security, coordination of the response to share information in a coordinated manner. We should also cooperate on IT. So the role of CERT, it aims at reinforcing national cyber defense and improve the reaction capacity to incidents and at what speed we can react to such attacks. I believe that we can have various types of CRT. At national level, we can have in telecommunication, energy, and it's important for us. We should have various topic of intervention whenever the incident. We've got teams of incident. In terms of organization, we are speaking about governmental CIT, multi-organizational companies of intervention, and we also have sectoral teams in terms of whenever incident happens, we can have financial CRT and also the energy sector, telecommunication sector, as well as regional teams of intervention whenever there's CRT. And we also have some services. So these are reactive services that aims at preventing incidents. We have proactive services that deal with incident and the reduce data. And we're speaking about the management of security quality in order to improve the way cyber is treated in an optimized manner. According to 2018 statistic, Africa has 18 national CSIRT, and some of these cyber incident response team were rehabilitated in Kenya. We have it in Zambia. We also have in Uganda. So this CRT were created by the government of the specific countries. In the case of Cameroon, for example, or Côte d'Ivoire. So in Côte d'Ivoire, CRT was created by our Ministry of Telecommunications, our regulating authority. So it provides service in defending incidents and control simulations. And you've got the address there. We also have the CSIRT from Tunisia. It's managed by the Tunisian Computer Emergency Response Team. It offers the necessary assistance to the citizens, the professionals in all the issues related to IT, and we also spoke about assistance, information, awareness campaign, capacity building, signage in terms of research, and we also have a communication center. And we provide direct assistance to professionals, citizens, children, and their parents. In Morocco, we also have the Moroccan Computer Emergency Response Team, and in charge to detect an event that might affect the IT system of the government, as well as coordinating such attacks or such cyber attacks. We also have the proactive services, and we also have the address, and we also have the computer incident response team of Cameroon, the Cameroun CSIRT. It has two missions: to prevent cybernetic attacks. In case of attack, CSIRT should be ready to counter react And we also have the monitoring section and provide assistance to the users. They also provide service to companies, private and public companies. So cyber crime is transnational. It's a crime that happens all over the world. For example, cyber crime in someone in Cote d'Ivoire cannot make an attack in Senegal territory, for example. So how can Senegal CRT can fight against this attack? So the CSIRT from the African countries have got a problem. There's a weak cooperation between the countries. There's lack of cooperation between the CRT from African countries. And there's also lack of labs for the treatment of numeric information, and also lack of capacity building from staff with enough knowledge in these specific areas, the lack of professional in these specific areas. So for that to happen, we made the following recommendation. We need to, the African countries should ratify the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and the protection of data and reinforcement of mechanism and acquisition of TAP labs and the creation of CRT at national level and Africa CSIRT and the development of experts or working with experts in area of CSIRT in order to protect local CSIRT. We also have here some example and some address whoever wants to get access to this information. Thank you for your attention.